So part 2 of how you're going to develop your strumming ability with the right hand. You've already understood the fact that we've got the pulse, and that's the regular beat going through the music, and we've got the rhythm. And the rhythm might be the same as the pulse. You might have a rhythm that does 1, 2, 3, 4. But it might not be identical. It's organised around the pulse, but it's not necessarily always the same as the pulse. So, how do we train our hands to be able to play any combination of strums around the pulse? Well, you've already got used to doing the downstrokes and tying that to the pulse. That's very helpful. If you think about a count of 4, and you do, let's imagine that you've done your 4 downstrokes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Every time you did a downstroke, your arm had to come up in order to be able to do the next downstroke. Might sound pretty obvious, but that means that in any count of 4, we've got 4 movements down and 4 movements up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and we can make contact with the strings on any of those 4 downs and 4 ups, and that's what creates the different strumming patterns. So I'm just going to demonstrate something that's really important to understand at an early stage. Let's imagine that we had a rhythm that went 1 and 2 and. Now theoretically, we could have the option on guitar of playing that as 1 and 2 and, or 1 and 2 and. They both sound pretty similar. The first one I did a down and a down up, and the second one I just did 3 downs. But the last 2 were quicker. Now, we always want to do it in the way I did it first. So you want to keep this right arm going consistently, so that if there was no sound, you would just see this. If we do it the way that I did it second, now you don't really have a solid reference for how long each movement should be. You're reliant on counting. And that means you've got less headspace left for singing, listening to everyone else who's there, remembering what chord comes out. It's just not as effective, and it's not going to be as consistent, and the timing is not going to be as solid. So your basic template is that this arm is always moving. This is your personal metronome. It's keeping you in time. And any rhythm you want to make is going to be a combination of different downs and ups that are going to make contact with the strings. And so music notation exists to tell us which of those downs and ups that we're going to hit. And don't worry about understanding notation. We're going to look at that in ways that's going to make it really straightforward. So we've got our 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you've already worked on getting your downs going at the same time as the pulse. So now I'm going to start including some ups, and that is going to give you a lot of different strumming patterns. So when you're working on building up your strumming, you just want the downstroke to feel quite relaxed, as if you're flicking water off your hand, and the same relaxed feeling when you come up. So you're finding that you're dragging your pick across the strings, you might want to exert a little bit less pressure. That can be another thing that just takes a bit of time to get used to. So let's start including some ups. We're going to start off with, we'll do down, down, up. This is a really great pattern, and it sounds really good, and it's really versatile. So it's just going to be down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. Out of those movements, same down that you had before, same down that you had before, come straight up. And just get your arms used to doing that. You can say down, down, up, down, down, up. If you want to that helps you get into the rhythm. And just try and use the drum track below to get that going. You don't need to add chords in just yet. We really want to get the strumming going. So in every count of 4, we've got 2 of these. Down, down, up, down, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so extra points if you can combine your foot on the beat, and that's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 So when you're doing this with the drum track, you really want that arm to just click in. And if at any point you get off the beat, that's fine, it's completely normal, it's part of developing your sense of rhythm. Just gonna pause, wait for a count of 4 and get back on it. 2, 3, 4. Counting out loud is also incredibly helpful and will make all of this stick more quickly, even though you might try it and feel like it demands quite a lot of concentration. Okay, so this is cool. We have worked on identifying the pulse, moving our arm in time with the pulse, and now starting to create some actual different rhythms. And we're going to take this down-up idea a little bit further, and we're going to move the down-up onto each different count of the beat of 4. So we're going to have it on the first beat, we're going to go down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do that again a little bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you also see that there are some grids with check marks in them that will kind of show you exactly, be a way of notating and writing down what I'm saying. Okay, so if you need to pause or rewind at any point, just do that. I'm going to give you the other options so that you have a little set of, you'll have kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different strumming patterns that you'll be able to play by the end of this. So we had down, down, up, down, down, up. Now we're just going to move the down, up onto the beat number 2. That's going to be 1, down, up, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's a little bit different. And we're now going to move it on to beat 3. So you're going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 And now we're going to move it on to beat 4. That's going to be 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, if you really want to get next level with this, you can combine 2 of those. So let's imagine that I'm going to do, I'm going to have the down up on beat 2. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to have the down up on beat 4. So that together that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can start making your own combinations of moving it around at different places. If I did that and I added chords, I could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can immediately start creating some great different strumming patterns without having a whole lot of knowledge, but having the fundamental key understanding of how it basically works, which is that you've got your arm moving all the time, and the rhythms that we hear are not to do with changing the movement of your right arm, they're to do with which gestures your arm makes contact with the strings. So that's a really important thing. Okay, great job.